Should I do the spoiler warning?
Yeah.
Meow.
Is that really?
Warning. We are about to spoil the film Kuroneko. If you haven't seen the movie and plan on watching it, please leave now. But if you have seen the movie or really don't care, then please stick around. Yeah, okay, we're just gonna puss out on the opening joke.
Good.
But tish.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cinema Roulette. Are you going to add anything, or should I just keep going?
I don't know. Usually you go for a bit, and then
I do go
pop
for.
in.
Yeah, I do go for a bit. Meow. So, I'm just honestly trying to decide how we should banter before this, because I don't just want to go right into it.
We did for the last movie.
I know we did. Well, the last movie wasn't the last movie, but
What do you mean? It wasn't the last movie?
did we do it for Flatliners?
Yeah, Flatliners. You just went right into it.
Oh, okay. Well, this is Kuroneko.
Again, we still do the pause afterwards. It's completely edited out.
I know.
I mean, it's nice that we do a second for whoever's editing because we both edit now. I know I made the jokes a lot. We didn't mention that actually.
In what?
For Flatliners, we didn't mention because throughout the last recording session in July, I kept joking on how I should be allowed to edit, and I think I annoyed you enough to allow me to do so.
You did. I was being stupidly stubborn for some reason.
You were.
And I'm sorry.
You should be. Because all my episodes came out on time. Anyway.
And you did a really good job. I knew you would. Don't worry.
I'm great at this. Watch the John dies at the end episode again. I like that one.
It's a really good episode.
It is. But yeah, so now I can't say I'm just doing stuff to annoy you on the edit unless we decide beforehand who edits what.
Yes. So we'll figure that out when the time comes.
I think since I did Hamble, you'll do whatever the next long show is.
Okay.
Just to evenly split.
Yeah, that's fair.
So anyway, we have to talk about this movie.
So, Kuroneko, which literally translates out to Black Cat in Japanese, is a Japanese horror film from the 60s. Let me look.
68.
Was it 68?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm like 90% sure.
I'm going to look that up just in case.
Okay, fine. Well, Cameron doesn't trust me still. So we watched a Japanese... this is part of the J-horror section of the wheel this time.
J-horror roots, specifically. Like the early J-horror stuff. So
maybe not too early. I'm sure there's earlier stuff, but this is like...
Oh, I was wrong. It was 1971.
What? No,
Apparently.
It was 60s. Hold on.
Unless Google's lying to me. No, 68 in Japan. I'm sorry, that was when the...
American version.
That was the overseas release. Yeah, 1968 was when this movie... It was a J-horror film from 68 directed by Kaneto Shindo, who lived a really...
We also might want to lower just a bit.
Am I talking too loud?
A bit.
Okay. Directed by Kaneto Shindo, who lived a really long life. I think the dude lived until 100 years old. It was like a couple years ago, actually, that he died.
Jeez.
So...
well, now we're going to talk about his movie in the most positive way we can.
So yeah, this movie is considered an early J-horror film, but it really isn't a horror film, if I'm being perfectly honest. It's more of like a mood, surreal type piece. So...
Should I do the synopsis? It's not going to take long.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So... Japan is at war because it always seems to be in every movie that was made before the 80s, I want to say.
Yeah. I guess every period piece that was made before the 80s, they're always at war.
I guess just every Japanese movie I've watched, which is weird, except for the new wave stuff like...
Oh, yeah.
Branded to Kill.
That's it.
I want to say it was Tokyo Drifter.
Tokyo Drifters, I think it was.
No, it's just Drifter.
Drifter, was it? Okay.
Yeah, not I want to look it up, but I'm not going to.
Mm-hmm.
But Japan's at war. There is a woman and another woman sitting in basically a hut by the river, or in a grove, as we find out later. And then they're just kind of sitting there. All of a sudden, bush samurai come out of nowhere and steal their water, steal their food, and there was a joke there, and I'm not going to finish it.
I think that's a good idea.
It was.
Yeah.
But they sexually assault the women.
Yep.
Yes, I was going to make a joke on that. I'm sorry, I'm a terrible person.
Well, no, you're not, because you stopped yourself.
I did, but I know now someone was looking at me shocked. I admit, it was in bad taste. That's why I didn't make it. But anyway, the women, after the men are done, they burn down the house with the women inside, and a cat comes up and licks them.
Well, they die, I think, first.
Well, yeah, they die, and somehow we're in a burning building, but have only a bit of blood on them. Whatever.
Yeah, they're not like charred to, I guess. Maybe it was too graphic even for that time in other countries.
I mean, you could have just zoomed out and we would have assumed they were dead.
Yeah.
But
well, they did show the bodies, so.
Yeah, but it was just like a little blood on the neck.
Yeah. Well, then again, we don't know if they slit their throats and then left. So.
Fair. But, then 3 years later, women in white start going up to samurai in front of, what was the gate called?
Rajomon, I think it was.
Rajomon Gate?
Yeah.
In front of the gate where samurai patrol, they get led back to their house, and it's like, hey, here's some alcohol. Here's some sex. Guess what? We'll bite you in the neck.
Yeah, because they're cats now, and
they're ghost cats.
Ghost cats, and they bite them in the neck when it does actually show like blood coming out and shit. So
it's not like a super amount.
No, it's not a big amount. It still is. I told Justin during the movie is really interesting to watch like old movies from like the '60s in foreign countries because they are way more graphic than like the American counterparts.
Yeah, because we didn't say fuck the Hays Code till the '70s.
Yeah, like it's interesting because when you think of like '50s movies, usually in America at least they're like very clean, stuff like that. But
yeah, it's only the shocking ones where it's like there's a toilet. But so samurai are dying left and right, and the head of the samurai gets yelled at by whoever runs the town.
Yeah,
and it's like, yo, I'll fucking kill you if you don't stop your men from dying. I'll kill you.
Yeah,
because logic.
No, I thought. Are you talking about the guy who was fighting and shit, or
no? The
he was because he had the squad of guys, and I think they all died, don't they?
Yeah, yeah. All his men were dying, and he was doing nothing.
Yep.
Except sitting around with his women.
Yeah, he really was. He was like the fucking playboy or something. He was like Hugh Hefner. He's like, yo, solve my problems for me.
But then we cut to a samurai who is the last of his squad and beats some big baddie called the Bear.
Yep.
And then he rides back to town and is like, I killed the bear. Cool. You're now one of my top men, says the guy who was going to get killed because all his men keep dying.
Yeah. And he was like,
what's the main character's name?
Jinko, I think it was. I had it pulled up right here.
I'm just going to call him
Jintoki. Because he's like, oh, I thought of the name Jintoki from another famous warrior. And I'm from a grove. And when he asked me what his name was, I didn't have one. So I just said Jintoki of the Grove.
And he was like, that's badass. And then the bear tried to fight him.
Yeah.
I like that logic too. That's a pretty cool name.
Yeah.
Fight me.
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm just going to call him Jin.
Okay, that's fine. Again, I told him during the movie, that's a cool name.
Yeah, it saves time and it will stop me from saying it wrong.
Not to be confused from Jin from Rogue One.
Yes, because we're obviously talking about Rogue One. Very similar movies with its cat people.
Exactly, Justin. Don't
cat
you know?
Ghost demons.
Don't you know? Yeah.
But Jin is really happy about his promotion, and he goes back home, which is suddenly burnt down.
Yeah. He's nice and clean cut now because he got a haircut and a little makeover.
But his house is burnt down, and his wife and mother aren't there.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes and asks, and like, yo, what happened? I don't know. It burnt down. We all went to the mountains, but we don't know what happened to your wife or your mother.
Yep.
Says the neighbor. And then mustache leader man is like, hey, buddy.
You're supposed to be one of like the coolest samurai around. Could you like go kill these ghosts for me, man?
There's like things killing my men. Can you kill them? And it's like, okay. But it turns out it's the spirits of his wife and mother, sort of. And he has sex with his wife, which she traded her immortality, because the wife and mother need to feast off, like, pray to some ghost so they can feast off samurai's blood to live forever, in a sense.
Like they vowed vengeance because of what happened to kill every last samurai.
But her husband is a samurai, and she doesn't want to kill him, so she has 7 days to basically screw him.
Yeah.
Well,
they do. They totally bang for just a week straight.
well, they make love, I guess I should say. It's more intimate than that.
Yeah, because, I mean, they do show, like, it's tricky. The other sex scenes are more like, oh, yes, I'm fucking her. But, like, when it's there, like, they're close-ups, all romantic. And
all close and stuff. But then she's sent to hell.
Because that broke their agreement.
And then the mother's like, she went to hell because she wanted to be with you. And he's like, no. But then Leader Man is like, so haven't you killed, like, the other ghosts, man?
Well, yeah, because he finds out, he says, like, oh, yeah, one of them's gone. Well, kill the other one, you motherfucker.
Actually, like, just kill the other one.
Yeah.
That'd be really good of you. So then he's like, I want to kill my mother. And then the mother keeps killing samurai. He's like, yo, I'll fucking execute you if you don't kill her right the fuck now.
Well, no, he's more like, why don't you just disappear and be at peace? They're still killing people. And then she leads him back, and then he cuts off her arm.
Well, she leads him back to the house. Is like, can you just read me this poem, and then I'll be able to rest in peace. And he sees in a puddle. It's not her-ish.
Yeah.
And then chops off her arm, which turns into cat arm.
Yep.
And then the leader of the samurai is like, yo, this is really fucking cool. What if we, like, go show the emperor this? We could get a raise or whatever.
Well, it's more like, I think it was just more to, like, pacify the people. Let's make a show of it. Just show them that they're no more. Or some shit like that.
Yeah, we did it. But first, Jen has to go through, like...
7 days of purification.
Yeah, of purification. And his mom's outside like, can you give me my arm back? Please? Hey.
No, I can't. But I'm up with the emperor. No, you're not. But he says he's going to punish you. Oh, okay.
Yeah, on the 7th day. She even says, like, well, spirits might come around and try to trick you.
Or something. Wouldn't that be something?
And then he opens the door, she gets the arm back and flies into... Well, kind of dodges him for a bit and then flies into the night.
Yeah.
And he gets...
Just breaks through the fucking roof and flies into the air.
And Jen gets mad and goes back to the place where the ghosts originally were and starts slashing around being like, where are you?
And I guess he was, like, tired out from that fight and running all the way through the woods. So he's just like...
And then he falls down. And then he's back in his burnt out home. And then he's buried in snow and we hear a cat and that's it.
Has such an abrupt ending, and it honestly ruined the movie for me. I must say too, Jin is really bad at recognizing faces.
You stole that and you know it.
Because at first he's like, why are you taking the form of my wife and daughter? And I think it's like he the second time he's had sex with his wife, he's like, wait a minute, you feel like my wife, those thighs, you are my wife. He's a very gullible man, clearly.
Okay, where the fuck to start with this?
I mean, I kind of knew going in that it was supposed to be like a slower burn, but I didn't think it would be too scary. But at the same time, it's just... The story at first, especially the first, I'd say, 20 minutes or so?
Yeah.
Are really vague and plot-wise. That stuff just kind of happens without explanation. You kind of have to think of, like, what's going on here.
I did read something where it was, like, people in Japan who read the title would have known what's going on, like, known the...
The lore behind it.
Yeah, or the rumors about it, like, the...
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of the word.
It's probably more of, like, it's more part of their culture.
The folk tale. They would have known the folk tales and stuff about cat women and shit.
Yeah, it's more of like, I guess, part of their culture than our culture, so.
Mm-hmm.
But.
Because the first 20 minutes is just them killing random samurai you never hear about.
Yeah. And the first scene is really clever how it builds it up, honestly. But then it just kind of keeps repeating itself over and over again until finally someone steps in and like, hi, I'm here to give you plot now.
It's like, hi, I killed a bear, but now I have to fight a cat.
Yes.
2 cats.
2 cats.
And I didn't know what this film was at all going into it.
Yeah, I was going in pretty blind too because I'd never seen it and I just knew it was more slow. That's about all I knew.
I didn't even know it would be slow. I was thinking it might be paced well. I realized it was slow quickly, so it was like, okay. Mm-hmm. And then I realized it's not being that scary. Okay, it might be more of a character piece, but we don't even really learn that much about the characters.
It's just... I don't know if I said this at the beginning. It's more... was I on tape when I said this? I don't know, but...
Say it anyway.
Yeah, it's more of a surreal type piece than anything, really.
But even the surrealist stuff is kind of dropped.
Yeah, because it starts out pretty surreal and cool, but...
Yeah, like that shot of the cabin when the first samurai comes to them, and the woods is moving behind it.
Like it's a still shot of the house, and there's a cool map painting where like the woods are just constantly moving behind it.
I think it's 2 different takes of like them panning through the woods, which was layered with...
That's what I said, it's a matte shot. So.
Oh, a matte shot.
Yeah, they matted out the top of it and then put the footage behind it, is what happened.
Yeah. And that was cool, surreal, and kind of eerie.
Yeah. And it would have been fine if it went more that direction, but even then it is kind of dropped.
Yeah, it's dropped near the middle.
Like, the cinematography is consistently gorgeous, but the problem is that there's really not much other substance to the movie.
Yeah, it never hooked me, honestly. Like, sometimes a movie will hook me in the beginning, and then I feel it's not going anywhere, it loses me. Or sometimes even the beginning is slow, but then characters come in and stuff starts to happen. It's like, oh, okay, I'm getting into this. I'll even say that for last time with Flatliners.
Yeah.
Like, the opening, I was like, yeah, this is weak and weird, but then the characters kind of became a bit more people. And
yeah.
I was like, okay.
Because the movie actually found its footing more as the movie went on, is what happened, I feel.
Yeah, and this one, it didn't even feel like an art piece in a sense. Because there are films like El Topo or Tokyo Drifter, where it is just creativity on the fucking loose. Mm-hmm. And I kind of respect those films in a way, but still, it wasn't creative enough to get there.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because Flatliners was a little more inconsistent with it and it was really rough around the edges, but even then it was more interesting than this. And this one, it's interesting too because it has more of a consistent tone. At least the whole thing's like consistent. It knows what it's trying to do, but it just kind of drags on. Honestly, I don't know.
It was too slow of a burn.
And I will say there is some stuff about it that is good. The things that I did like about it, again, the cinematography was gorgeous. The way the women acted was really good. Their acting was great,
especially their movement. Like the mother is able to walk without even bobbing the rest of her body, so it gives her this very spirit movement. Yeah, she's like the rest of her body is like in some kind of pose, and she's kind of almost shuffling her feet, and only her feet are moving, but the rest of her body is just completely still, and it almost looks like she's hovering. So yeah, like that was impressive. The cinematography was good. So the action when it happened was really good. Honestly, yeah, it was fine for what it was. It feels like a very cheap movie. It does. It was probably made on a lower budget, honestly. What? No, Justin. What? Okay, well, go ahead, look it up. If I can find it. That's what I'm saying. For some reason, Japanese movies are really hard to find budgets for. So, scanning. I don't got anything. Damn. Big budget. Oh, no, it was in the wake of his big budget film. Is all I found. Restricted by a low budget. Yep. Okay, so it was a low budget. Mm-hmm. Just a quick thing. Yeah. Justin loves his budget. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for some reason, it's really hard to find Japanese budgets. I guess they just don't care. Yeah. They're not America. Who cares about every dollar? Oh, yeah. Well, because Hollywood logic and stupid audience logic nowadays is, oh, but look at the money it made. Think of all the money. Exactly. But what if we did none of that? Go watch Gus Johnson if you haven't already. He's great. I love that video so much. Yes. Can we just talk about that video instead of this movie?
I wish. Yeah, that was fine. Acting was great. Soundtrack was all right. It was moody enough. It's very drummy.
Oh, yeah. Well, I remember the soundtrack in the beginning because the drums just kept going.
Yeah, it was very loud and obnoxious. I don't know why.
It was still too calm for what was going.
Yeah.
Like, they're murdering a bunch of people. It's just...
Yeah. Okay, give me something scary. Great.
Perfect.
That's it. Done. I'm reminded of the Spoonie video where it's one of the Red Brown movies, and like the soundtrack is bum 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 bum, and he just cuts to him like with sunglasses doing a. Yeah, it's.
It's like it doesn't go in. It had the option of going into normal movie,
Yeah.
or an art house film, and it didn't. It decided on neither.
Mm-hmm.
We did that with both movies so far in this wheel of just they had options,
Yeah.
and they went, "What if we didn't do
Any of
either?"
that. Yeah. Yeah, I must say it's just it's disappointing, honestly, because I'm trying to decide if it's the weakest Japanese movie I've seen so far. Because you've seen, I know, technically ones you hated more. Yeah.
I don't think I hate them more than
Like Branded to Kill and all that, you said.
Branded to Kill was boring, but there's stuff I can respect a lot in it. This
yeah.
I can only really respect the like you said, the acting of the mother and
Daughter.
wife, not daughter.
Sorry, I did it again.
Because it rolls off the tongue easier than mother and wife, or wife and mother.
Yeah.
But in Brand to Kill, at least, there's a respect I can have for going so balls out.
Mm-hmm.
That this film, like, even though it's a low budget, that's not really an excuse, because Brand to Kill also has a super low budget.
Yep.
That's why the director was allowed to do whatever he wanted with those.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just overall, I was kind of disappointed because I've actually seen better J-horror films than this. So,
which makes us kind of confused on all the reviews we see where it's like,
yeah, this is another movie that's a little overhyped, if I'm being honest.
8 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like, what? Really?
It was all right. And again, I about halfway through when the guy started recognizing, oh, hey, you're my mother and daughter. Finally. But when they finally started doing that, I got a little more interested. Like, I wasn't like hooked. But I was like, okay, this is interesting enough, at least. It's keeping my attention.
You know what would have been cool?
What?
He like quits being a samurai and then fights with the ghosts.
Yeah, it would have been cool.
To kill the rest of them.
That's what I'm saying. If it had a more action-oriented, like, ending, I would have been fine. But, like, here's the thing. The ending kind of ruined it for me, if I'm being honest. That brought it down a bit for me.
I get, like, the film's supposed to be a tragedy, obviously, but...
Well, the way it's resolved just kind of makes no sense.
It's like, okay, he dies, I guess, but you hear the cat still meowing, so I guess the spirit got away?
I was going to say, I was like, did she just win?
I guess she did?
Yeah.
Why did the mother betray him?
Well, I mean, I guess she just wanted to keep killing samurai, I guess. She was still vengeful.
I guess?
I don't know. It was just a very confusing and far too abrupt ending.
Yeah, I was like, is that... I was expecting him to get up or some sort of wrap up, but no, it was just like, then the snow buries him. Later.
Yeah. And there are some abrupt endings I'm fine with. There's another old black and white movie called Sword of Doom, which is really good, which is about a psychopathic samurai.
That sounds awesome.
It's really interesting, and the action is really fucking good in it. But the ending action scene...
Don't spoil it.
Damn it.
Unless you say a spoiler warning, obviously.
Yeah. I'm debating whether or not to actually say it, because it's not on the wheel.
It isn't, but it does sound interesting to me.
Yeah. May do it as a dealer's vet sometime.
Or I'll watch it on my own.
That's because it is on Criterion.
Yep.
So, but it does have a very abrupt ending because I guess what happened is they wanted to turn it into a series, and they left it purposely on a cliffhanger, but it never actually got renewed.
So it just
kind of ends on a freeze frame of him lunging at somebody, but and that's it. And I was like, wow, that's it. But the action scene leading up to that was really cool. So I guess that's why I gave it a pass. Here it just kind of ends.
Damn it, I was trying to think of some because there was another ending. Oh, I'm thinking of Riddle Story of Devil.
Yeah.
With that, without going into it, because you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Where yes, it has something somewhat bad with the ending, but enough is wrapped up beforehand where it doesn't matter.
Yeah, where we were still like, wow, that's kind of stupid, but it didn't bug us because it was resolved. Like there were no plot threads left open. It was all resolved.
Yeah. What else with this movie?
I think that's it, man.
What are we at before we say that's it?
When did we start? Like, how many minutes do you think we're going to be cut out at the beginning?
Like, I'll say 3 to be...
Because we're at 28 exactly right now. 28:07.
This is the shortest episode.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of more to say, but it was just so little.
Yeah.
I guess I said this too before we started recording of like, technically speaking, because we're thinking this might be like 5 out of even though we don't usually say rains.
Yeah, as I was saying, it's kind of like Flatliners where it's like it's a 5 out of 10.
It's an average. It might go lower by the more, but
yeah, it might drop to a 4 out of 10. But it's still I can respect the cinematography and the acting, but it just the film just kind of really falls flat for me, which is again disappointing because there's some good J-horror out there. I feel bad that we started on this one for the classic J-horror.
But yeah, I'm just saying, like, technically speaking, if this is the average rain, this is what the average films could be.
Yeah. At least we have got nothing to where we're like, wow, that was fucking terrible. Like, the first 2 films we started out were just average. All right.
Okay, since we have done the recap episode at this point, would you say, if you had a choice of The Big Heat or Seeing Through This Again, which would you choose?
Fuck. I'd probably say Big Heat. It's a really hard one.
I think I could laugh more if I was watching The Big Heat.
Yeah, it has more cliches that you can make fun of.
Or the daughter thing we pointed out in the actual review.
Yeah. I told her mother's on a trip. She was right there.
Big boom. No mommy. Equal. I guess that's technically a spoiler for The Big Heat.
Wow.
Oops.
Wait, sorry. But,
well, I guess, hold on. Whoever's editing this, put spoilers for The Big Heat because we can't control ourselves.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it, guys. We're really sorry. There's not much to say about this movie.
Sorry, this is a short episode.
It was. I feel bad, but it was disappointing.
Because I guess someone would be like bringing a deeper meaning to it. Talk more about the film since it's a moody one, but it doesn't feel like it talks about it.
And there are people online who talk about like, oh, it's like the ravages of war and like deprecation and shit like that, like trying to really be pretentious about it. But it's like I just didn't get.
I don't want to push them as being pretentious.
Well, and it's
I think that is a way to read the film.
Guess,
I can get it, but
if you got that and you fucking love the film, great. We just we're all right.
We didn't.
Yeah. So yeah, that was our review of Kuroneko, which means it's time to do probably the most exciting thing in this review.
Leave?
Justin, there's something with the wheel.
Oh, spinning said wheel.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So.
We
have 18 options.
Yes.
I'm gonna. In a second.
Okay.
Spin the wheel. Ooh.
Oh, what do we get?
Man Bites Dog.
Oh,
also,
yes.
Known as It Happened in Your Neighborhood.
Yeah, okay. One of the first found footage movies, honestly. One of the, like, because there was Cannibal Holocaust, which is considered the first, which is in the 80s, and this was, I think, what, 94?
You could also call it a mockumentary in a sense.
That's true. That's true.
So that will be next time.
That's exciting. I'm excited.
Another Criterion, technically.
Yes, so we can watch it right on the Chan.
The Chan.
I was going to say channel, but I'm like, I need something more witty. Oh, the Chan.
They just added Police Store. It's a Jackie Chan movie.
That's right, they did. They came out with an edition of that. Yeah.
And it's on the streaming service.
Hell yeah.
Meow.